This is Tech Talk Today, episode 277. Welcome into Tech Talk Today. I'm Chris.
And I'm Andrews.
Hello, Andrews. We have lots of Google stuff to talk about, but we're going to kick things off with a follow-up story. We have been chronicling the saga of the GrayKey box.
Oh, yes.
And there is an update in the story. Now,
is it locked out?
Not yet, but it's on the way. So quick reminder, the GrayKey is a law enforcement device that they can hook up over a lightning port to an iOS device, and they install some background malware, and eventually it'll crack the PIN code. It's about $15,000 for the limited box, $30,000 for the most expensive box. And Apple is doing their part to brick those and turn them into paperweights. iOS 11.4, currently being beta tested, includes USB restricted mode that introduces a week-long expiration date on access to the lightning port on your iOS devices. So if you haven't used your phone for about a week, you haven't unlocked it for a week, it turns off the port.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is, wow.
It's simple and yet very effective. And of course, the charging wires still work, so you can still charge the phone after a week.
Wow. So now law enforcement has to hustle, but when they get that phone,
that's right.
They've got a dink, dink.
Yeah, it's still possible.
Come on, where's the 24 countdown sound? Wow.
Yeah, it's still possible, but they have to hustle. Now, in the developer documentation, Apple says the new mode is meant to bolster security on the iPhone and on the iPad. They write, to improve security for a locked iOS device to communicate with USB accessories, you must connect an accessory via the Lightning connector to the device while it is unlocked, or enter your device passcode while it's connected at least once a week.
Okay, so if I don't, this is such a joke, if I don't unlock my phone for a week, it goes into this mode, and then I can just unlock it and it resets that week?
Yeah, it's out of the mode.
So I could see law enforcement maybe forcing somebody to unlock their phone under duress.
Yeah,
you know?
Now that's a little trickier. It depends on the type of lock that it is. There's some legal protections there. Mm-hmm. What's nice, though, is that USB restricted mode is being paired with other new security features that have been introduced with iOS 11. So you've got expiration dates now for local backups, which I think is also a great idea. So you don't just have all these backups that are sitting around on the phone that could be exploited. And now you also have the timeout option, which means the GrayKey, the thing is really the GrayKey is going to become less and less effective as Apple sort of turns the knob on these things. Mm-hmm. And that's before they've even found the particular exploit the GrayKey is using at a software level.
Right. So regarding the backups, though, on the phone, like most backups, well, at least not me, I do it on my computer, but it's to the cloud.
Yeah.
So is it talking about that as well? Or does it extend to that?
My understanding is that there's a backup process that executes locally on the phone, and then that gets synced off. So there's files that sit around. And also, if you have an Apple Watch, those backups the Apple Watch backs up to the phone, and then the phone backs up to whatever cloud or iTunes or whatever. Okay. So there's those kind of backup files sitting around on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah. And why not clean them up? Because they're also just taking up space.
Right.
But you better buy those GrayKeys while you still can. Also, your Android devices are going to be getting more valuable along with iOS devices because Valve just announced SteamLink. For iOS and Android apps. So SteamLink before was a dedicated hardware box that was about $100, HDMI coming up the back, and Ethernet. It could get on 5 gigahertz wireless if you were lucky. And it would stream video games from your PC. So you spin up the game on the PC, and all of the keyboard and the mouse and all of the video game play gets sent to the SteamLink, hooked up to your big flat screen television. And the idea was PC games on your TV. Well, now Valve is introducing the SteamLink app, which is going to be available on iOS and on Android, that will let you turn your existing device into a SteamLink receiver.
Well, that seems like a really good evolution.
Yeah. And the program is going to enable users to stream games over 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi or Ethernet. And they're also allowing you to stream them from Linux host PCs. So it's not just Windows and Mac, but also Linux machines can be the PC that you're actually streaming the games from, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is epic.
That's also, the other thing that's nice about this is it's probably going to be likely that you'll start seeing projects like Project Moonlight and others that are designed to make software SteamLink receivers get a big boost. And the reason why that's really nice is because you're going to be able to, say, load Moonlight or a SteamLink client on, say, a Chromebook or on a really low-end PC that can now stream from a very high-end PC somewhere else in your house. So you can buy one nice gaming rig, and all of the computers in your house will benefit from that computer's graphics capabilities. And I've experimented a bit with SteamLink. We have one here in the studio. It's pretty good. You know, we run it over Ethernet, so I think that helps, and it really is responsive. We've had some fun with it. And this is just a great addition, like Ange is saying. It's like, now you just got all these extra devices you've gotten access to.
Yep.
Do you want to play PC games on your TV? I don't know about that. I did, but I don't know if everybody will. Because, you know, like, the PC games on your TV are one thing if they're controller-based. But when you're playing them on an iPad or an iPhone, that's a totally different game control experience, you know, touch screen versus controller or a mouse and keyboard.
Right. Well, it's like trying to, you know, it's playing Minecraft on the computer and then trying to play it on an iPad. It's really weird how our son was able to, like, just pick it up, no problem, like, go right in between the two. But I tried to play Minecraft on the iPad.
Couldn't do it.
No.
Pocket Edition just doesn't work for my brain.
Nope, mine either.
And he just whips through it.
I know.
It is really weird to watch that. Although he did say to me the other day, he's like, "Is there any way to hook up a keyboard to my iPad so I could use the keyboard when I'm playing Pocket Edition?" I don't think it supports that, Dylan. I tried it a little while ago for me, and I couldn't get it to work. Although, like, when it comes to the Apple TV or the NVIDIA Shield, which is my favorite set-top box, those do have several controller options available to them. Mm-hmm. And in the case of the NVIDIA Shield, you might be able to just hook up a USB keyboard and mouse because it's got a couple of USB ports on the back. So that might just close the gap. Maybe it keeps me off that switch sauce because Nintendo just launched a demo of an online network that's going to add some retro console support, although it looks a little underwhelming for the Switch, as well as cloud saves. I was looking at that going, you know, geez, that it looks really compelling for a family gaming system. But now this lets you take advantage of existing hardware and an existing Steam game library that you already own, and now you can move it to a place that's going to be family friendly, where there is a difference when it's a whole family social experience playing a game on the TV versus you play by yourself on your phone or on a handheld. Mm-hmm. You and I both love playing Mario with the kids, mm-hmm. and it's so much more fun when we can all sort of share the experience.
Right.
And this, I think, is going to bring that for a bunch of great games now that we're only sort of locked off to the PC. It's pretty cool. Speaking of pretty cool, Ting. Go to last.ting.com and pay for what you use. Ting is a fair price for however much you talk, text, and data you use. Nationwide coverage, which is great because they also have a CDMA and a GSM network you can choose from. And there's no contracts. There's no other termination fees. You just pay for what you use. Your minutes, your messages, and your megabytes. Whatever you use, that's what you pay. I love the way Ting averages it out, too. Some months, like when I'm traveling down to Texas, maybe we'll use a little bit more data. But the month that I'm back, then the data goes back down again. And so it sort of evens out in a way that has been remarkable over the 4 years that I've been a Ting customer. Before we moved over to Ting, because of work and whatnot, I had several lines, and it was it was almost a car payment in monthly cellular bills. Now, with 3 lines, we're paying around $40 a month. You can see your usage at a glance, you can take complete control of your account, and you can set usage alerts through the Ting control panel. And they have great customer service whenever you get stuck. You can buy a fresh, clean device right from Ting or bring your own. Check their BYOD page. And remember, they've got that CDMA and that GSM network, so there's a whole bunch of devices you can bring. And they're always whipping out new stuff, too. It's always worth just taking a look. They also have a great active blog with good tips and industry insight. It's a great company. They're owned by 2 cows. They've been around for a long time, and they're making mobile simpler. And you can get started by going to last.ting.com and get $25 off a device, or if you bring a device, $25 in service credit. That's last.ting.com.
Every year, Google I.O. brings lots of news, mostly about things that I'm never going to use.
All right, well, let's start with Google Photos, which I have an on and off relationship. Yeah. I'm currently not using.
Oh, really?
But considering going back to it. Oh. Yeah. It's great. Google Photos, I think, is one of their best products, and the company is making it even easier to fix up photos in their Photos app, like with obvious suggestions for rotations, fixing brightness, adding a little bit of pop of color. They're taking a lot of stuff they've used with the Google Assistant AI stuff, where it's like, here's a photo we suggest for you, and bringing those tools just into the editor. I think you would like it, actually.
I think I would too, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. The photos thing is a particular challenge because it's so much, and you really want it to be well backed up. But then the other thing you don't really think about until like years later is you also want to be able to go back and just retrieve a quick picture.
Yes, I run into that actually more often than you'd think I would. But I do have over 100,000 photos in iPhoto.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be able to upload my whole library.
Are you using iPhoto still or actual Apple Photos?
I'm sorry,
now?
it's called Photos now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
But you're not using the iCloud
get
backup.
off my lawn.
Right?
No, I'm not.
Woo!
No.
You do have
no, I have Backblaze.
Yeah.
But I keep only 2 weeks worth of pictures on my phone. I try to sync every couple of weeks or so, but man, the physical syncing is just so stupid. I ran into the worst problem with my music last week that maybe I'll tell you after the show.
Really? Is that bad? You don't want to say it on air?
It was so bad. I guess, so you can edit a playlist from your phone, you can edit a playlist from your computer, but they don't know how to talk to each other.
No way. There's
one
you
of
don't have
them
any
is
sync stuff.
One of them is dominant. Well, I do tell it to send new music to my phone, but that's it. It's like downloads. I don't know. It was complicated. I ended up losing my playlist. It removed a bunch of purchase. This is like 3 weeks in a row that I've had issues with music and iTunes.
Imagine if that was happening to your photos. That would be
horrible. Well, you know what?
That would be a line too far
Honestly,
there.
It might be happening. I don't know. Oh my God.
So the thing I like about it is you can get an app, obviously, that uploads them from your phone, or you can get one if you got a Mac or Windows, you can just have a little agent that runs in the background, and when you put them on your computer, then it sends them up.
See, okay, this is why I haven't turned on iCloud. I take a lot of pictures, and I don't need them all saved. I go through and I prune them, and I save a lot of memes, to send to people.
Well, check this out.
Okay.
So Google Photos is adding a new feature where it'll go through and it'll say, hey, here's 35 screenshots you've taken in the last 6 months. Do you really still want screenshots in your photo library? Here's a bunch of old photos of receipts. Would you like me to either get rid of these or just remove these to a receipt folder? So it goes through and notices a lot of these two photos are almost identical. You could keep the better one and then just archive the not so good one. It's doing a lot of that now.
What's archive?
I don't know exactly. Okay. It doesn't sound like delete though.
Right.
So.
Yeah, right. It sounds much safer than gone forever.
They have kind of a more compelling sharing feature set that they're adding too, which this is the thing that really kind of actually turned me off from Google Photo was they kept adding in more sharing, and I'm like, I don't want to share my photo library at all.
Right.
But now they've refined it a little bit, and after Linux Fest, I found it to be really kind of neat. So first of all, it's doing facial recognition just like Facebook does. Of
course.
But it's not asking you to tag them. It just says, would you like to share this album with the people I found in the photo?
And then it lists the people so you can make sure it's not...
And it shows you their G+ icons or whatever. So it's whatever they're... So I saw Emma and a couple of others that were at their Linux Fest barbecue showed up those little icons under the album that I could share with them. And then it said, would you like to set up a partner account? So this is like a spouse or another family member or significant other, and you share it with them, and then you can say... only share certain photos, share everything, share only stuff starting since I did this.
Right.
And it'll also automatically group different people you might want to share with in the future. Now, at first I didn't like these features, but with the recent refinements, it's actually getting where it's not super heavy-handed. It's just, here's the suggestion button. If you want to tap it, I'll just take care of the details, is basically how it's implemented now. Instead of share your photos, your photos, tag your friends. It's not doing that.
It feels like, though, there's going to be a mass batch of pictures sent, to everybody in your contact list, and once you have Google G+, at one point it added everybody in G+ to my phone book. What? It doesn't, you have 18,000 followers on G+. That would be horrible.
Yeah. I'm cautiously re-experimenting with it again too, because Hadia needs a solution for all of her photos, and so if she's going to be on there too, then I'm like, maybe I'll use the shared album feature thingy. I like the auto backup. So I don't know. So it's tough for me. It's a tough one.
The other thing I guess that I would consider,
so much data.
is that hopefully if and when I get this new SE coming out, the 5SE, will it be a 5SE or will it be
I think they just call it iPhone SE.
Oh, okay. Well, regardless, the small form factor phone, the next one that comes out, it's going to have a better camera, I imagine, right? Because my phone's, 2 or 3 years old now. Yeah. And so the files are going to be bigger.
Yep.
And if I were to use this is one of the biggest things that turns me off of iCloud and streaming is it then has to use my data. And if it starts transmitting immediately for a picture that
You can tell it to only back up when on Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, or you could do what I had done in the past is I had a MacBook that I would sync all of my iPhone photos to, and I would just when I was booting into Mac OS, I just had the backup utility in the background just offload them from my computer. So I didn't even load it on my phone. I synced them to the computer, and then I had the computer upload them.
Oh, I see.
So that but you could do it either way. It's kind of nice to have it on the phone because then you can search for photos on your phone, and as you know, it's just got crazy killer search. It's just ridiculous. But like people come to me and I'll just show them like boom, like look at this, boom, dog picture, boom,
wow. Dog fisher,
dog picture, boom, wow, boom, dog picture, boom, wow, poo, pow, boom, cat picture. It's like you just put the searches in there. Last night, Hadia was setting up she was updating her website. She's like, "Do you have a wider picture?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me go to boom, 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 pull up all the pictures of Hadia. Here's Hadia on a swing, pow, picture of Hadia on a swing." Like it was just ridiculous. It was just so high tech, and I'm like, that is so nice because that picture was over a year old. I don't know. I would have had to scroll for days to find that.
Well, and you've never been super good about time.
No, or organizing them because usually, every organizing system I've ever put together, like keywords or tags or identified faces, has always eventually gone away when I moved programs.
Photos. Yeah, photos stopped making that easy. So I stopped tagging like 4 years ago or something, and I can't find anything.
This is an area where Google could really, I think, clean up the market, and it's so much data because now they have all of the metadata in the photo, which includes GPS location, and then they have all of the faces in the photo. So now they know I was at a barbecue with Emma, who's normally in Colorado, so we might not cross on in our Google social graphs, but now it knows that there's a connection there. And they wouldn't have got that from either because she and I talk on Telegram. We never talk across Google services.
Right.
So it would be really kind of impossible for Google to have that data point except for now it's got that photo on there.
Right.
Which I found it super useful for Linux Fest. Let's talk about Android P. That also got a little more details. We didn't get the name though.
Nope, I know. I actually, the next day, I Googled, what is Android P?
And
I couldn't find anything, but I did find that there's been a subtle hint of pineapple upside down cake.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I love me some pineapple upside down. There's a lot of well-being type features, digital wellness, which I was a little off the mark. I thought it'd be more about privacy, but it was more about well-being and giving yourself like limits on your phone is really kind of the angle they're going with Android P. They have a dashboard now that will tell you how often and how long you're using every app on your phone. It'll also allow you to set limits yourself. So you could say, give yourself a half-hour Instagram limit.
Genius.
And then after your 30 minutes is up, the icon for Instagram changes to a dull grayscale.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
You like that, huh?
That's great. Yeah, actually, in iOS, they have this already. Not the limiting, but I could see how long actively I was in.
Right.
It shows actively or passively, which is kind of nice because I play music all the time, and also how much battery those apps were using. So.
This is like a full-on like pie chart kind of dashboard. It'll show you how many minutes you've used your phone overall per day, how many notifications you received that day.
Ooh. You should do that for a day.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
A pie chart on how long you've used each app on your phone that day and how long per day you've used each app on your phone broken down by hour. And you also got to figure that Google's going to have all this information. So this is a nice
This is not like something that you need for every day. This is for occasional. Like, for example, I have automatic in my car, I check it occasionally when I'm feeling stressed. My score will reflect that. And I'll be like, okay, I need to slow down. I need to be more calm when I drive, or I need to go see a therapist, something like.
You can tell just by looking at your
There
stats.
is something, but like this
now
is
Google can too.
Yeah, it's a cool geeky feature, but I don't know how practical it is in everyday use.
So the grayscaling stuff, it's more than just the icons. So there's also a new feature called Wind Down. When you turn it on, it'll tell you when to go to bed.
Nice.
And
based on what?
I guess when you tell it to. It starts yelling at you when you tell it to.
Oh.
And then when your bedtime arrives, your phone will automatically go into do not disturb mode. and it'll go grayscale, the whole thing.
That
whole
would be
phone.
annoying.
No color at all.
You know how much I like grayscale.
And then you'll get a reminder that you're breaking your promise. A visual, stark reminder that you're breaking your promise to yourself and that you should go to sleep.
This feels like a
little
path
heavy-handed,
to
though.
Emotional connections to inanimate objects.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, yeah.
Google says that their whole focus here was to try to get. In fact, they came up with a new catchphrase: "Let Google do it" or "Make Google do it." Have Google do it. I can't remember what it was. But the idea is instead of you worrying about it, let Google worry about it.
Brainwashing.
Yeah, is what it seems like. Yeah, okay. Also, D&D goes even further now. You literally just will not see notifications. It's not even that they won't make noise. They won't even show up like on the dashboard.
Oh, wow. Like it'll block banners and stuff. I'm actually reading a book called You're Already Hypnotized.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just starting it today, but so I don't really have much to say about it at the moment.
Wake up, fools!
Yeah.
Wake up! Okay, so now we just have, we're almost done with the Google I.O. stuff. There's obviously, we could have done a daily show. There's so much. But there was the big tech demo that everybody's talking about, and it's Google Duplex. And it is truly, truly remarkable. It's one of the few times when you're watching a keynote and you have that holy shit moment. I remember one of the last times I felt this way was when I saw Steve Jobs introduce the iPhone, and it was all glass, and there was no stylus. And I remember walking away from that keynote going, yeah, that whole all glass, no stylus thing, that's going to definitely be the future of smartphones. They nailed that. And watching this keynote, Duplex is a huge part of Google's future, and they just nailed it. So I want to give you a demo. These are off of Google's website. This is Duplex making a phone call.
So how can I help you?
Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd.
Sure, give me 1 second.
Now, as you're probably guessing, one of these two ladies is a robot.
Huh.
Isn't that remarkable?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, what time are you looking for around?
At 12 p.m.
We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15.
Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.?
Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for?
Just a woman's haircut for now.
Okay, we have a 10 o'clock.
10 a.m. is fine.
Okay, what's her first name?
The first name is Lisa.
Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Great. Have a great day. Bye.
So you say to your phone, hey, Googs, set up a hair appointment at my favorite place. Well, your favorite place doesn't have a website because it's some small town haircut place, mom and pop shop. 60% of small businesses don't have a website. Mm-hmm. So instead of Google trying to get them to create websites, they're creating an AI that can have phone conversations.
I could tell by her inflection, and, but it was pretty good.
I mean, she's doing mm-hms.
Yeah.
She's doing all of it.
Yeah.
Now, so that's a pretty straightforward call. Listen to how a more challenging call goes.
See how may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to reserve a table for Wednesday the 7th.
For 7 people?
It's for 4 people.
You see how it handles that curveball?
Yeah.
That's a huge curve there. She misunderstood the date for the amount of people.
Yeah.
And then he does an appropriate pause, and he thinks about it. Yeah, and the voice, too. Like, we shouldn't lose track of how good the voice actually sounds.
For 7 people?
It's for 4 people.
4 people? When?
Next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Oh, actually, we reserve for upper 5 people. For 4 people, you can come.
How long is the wait usually to be seated?
When, tomorrow or weekday or?
For next Wednesday, the 7th.
Oh, no, it's not too busy. You can come for 4 people, okay?
Oh, I gotcha. Thanks.
Yep. Bye-bye.
I see. Okay, so she said you can't make a reservation, which I did not get until I tried to figure out why he said, how long is the wait usually? Holy crap.
Yeah. Isn't that good? I was really, really, really impressed. So that's the problem with Googs is that's the kind of feature you're not going to be able to say, okay, Google, book me a haircut appointment for years, I bet. I bet you that's a minimum a year away. There's so many things that they have to deal with. Right now, the headlines are all, people are, actually, this is the headline. Google grapples with horrifying reaction to uncanny AI tech. That's the headline. Because people are saying, well, it's doing those ums and those ahs to fool the person on the other end of the phone, to trick them into thinking they're talking to a human being. You're intentionally misleading the other person you're talking to.
I don't know if
Well, why doesn't it start out with, say, hello, my name is Google Assistant, and I am booking on the behalf of Christopher Fisher?
Because they would probably hang up.
Yeah, that's what Google says. That's exactly what Google says, yeah.
But you know what all I can think of is, and this is, when I call in an order, fill your belly. That guy, his accent is so
thick. They should try it on him.
Yeah. And her accent was thick too.
They did it on some thick ones. They have some more demos. So I'll tell you how you're going to see this roll out almost probably sooner than you realize. It could begin to happen. It may already be happening, actually.
Well, they're using this for dating apps. No, just kidding.
Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, think about this too, just as a side tangent. Especially after I play this next one. If we're going to start having bots call people, then people are going to start having bots answer the phone. And you're going to start having bots talk to bots.
Oh my gosh.
Right? So now this is probably how you're going to start seeing Google Duplex go into production very, very soon. Is Google can use this on a very, very, very large scale effectively starting tomorrow. And all they have to do is just start making the Google Maps hour predictions more accurate. And if they can have Duplex call a business and ask for its hours, it can then update Google Maps' little hour thing when you search for a place to tell you if it's open or not. And it can update it once.
Instead of person.
And then everybody gets that.
Right.
So, and here's how that'll sound.
How can I help you?
Hello?
Hello, what's up, man?
Hey, I wanted to know what are your hours for today?
10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Okay, got it. Thank you for your time.
No problem, sir.
So if you answer the phone for wherever you work and you get a call like that, you may have just talked to a Google robot.
This is just getting kind of crazy.
Yeah. And it can even handle interruptions. So if you start talking when it's talking, it'll stop and it'll listen to what you say and restate.
Okay, what's your phone number?
The phone number is 607.
Wait, can you start over?
The number is 607. 223.
22 what?
223.
Okay, 223.
Isn't that good?
Wow. Yeah.
You can tell it's robotic, but it's not messing up. And I think that's a massive innovation that really only Google can do at this scale because they've got Google Voice, they've got Google Maps, they've got the super long-term research and development into AI and machine learning that they're putting all this together so that way we can have robots place dinner reservations for us so we don't have to talk to humans. The only irony I see in all of this is you're already holding your phone and turning on the screen to bark at Google Assistant. It would literally be one more tap to just make the phone call.
Unless there was not an opening.
Yeah, I mean,
if you don't have time to sit there and figure out.
Well, and think about this too. Like, think about the epic levels you could take this. If you could say, hey, Googs, schedule a dinner with Angela, Hadia, my dad, and Noah or something. Like, you get a whole bunch of people in that are, everybody's in town and we want to get a big dinner going, right? You could have the assistant take care of, oh, he's not available until 6, she's not available until 5:30, and she actually can't do, like Google Assistant could do all the little fiddly details, call everybody, get it all lined up, or just put it right on our calendars. And then, all I had to say was schedule something. And then, 2 hours later, I look at my phone and there's a calendar appointment for dinner. That would be game changing.
Yep.
And that seems like where it's going. And unless we all have to rip these things out of our devices, because there's another story this week from the New York Times about research out of China that can issue commands to all of the lady tubes using ultrasonic frequencies so you can't hear them. And they've tested this on all 3 major assistants. Now, we've talked about in the past about the ability to do this while it was embedded inside other sounds. That's not totally new. So you would play one thing, and embedded in that sound was the actual command. So you might be thinking you're listening to music, but warbled in there, and you could hear something was warbly, was actual commands to the lady tube. But now they can do it with no other sounds. So it's completely silent using ultrasonic waves. And it was a research that was jointly done in Princeton University, and I think it's Zichang. I'm sure I'm getting that wrong, out of China, because I don't pronounce. But this technique is being called the dolphin attack. And it instructs smart devices to visit malicious websites, initiate phone calls, take a picture, send a text message. The only limitation is the transmitter has to be fairly close to the receiving device. So you got to be within a certain range for the ultrasonic sounds to make it.
Is it considered a hack, do you think?
Well, because it could be
or
used...
phishing? Like, what would be the best term to describe this as?
I think about it like this. So we in the studio here, we have a lady tube, and we have a window that I have frequently open during the day. Somebody could, from the backyard, probably trigger our lady tube. Mm-hmm. You could, take us off the air with that. You could tell it to... There's a command that would actually turn off the gear in the studio. And some people have smart locks, so you could, in theory, unlock a door, and the person in the house would never hear you do it. Depending on how close the tube is to the window.
Sure.
And Amazon today, or yesterday, since our last episode, released a whole bunch of information about Echo for Business, where they're trying to get the Echo integrated into people's businesses. That starts to... Then you're in a conference
Breakdown,
room.
yes.
Yeah. Ultrasonic spying. And the other thing is you also have to keep in mind that these things are not omni-powerful. It can't do everything. It can't spin up the warp core and turn on self-destruct mode.
Warning. Warp core breach a lot sooner than you think.
It is limited in what these lady tubes are capable of, but as they add more capabilities, it should be possible that, or at least it should become a concern that this is an exploit. It seems to me, yes, because these are getting built into more and more devices. They're in televisions, they're in lamps, they're in light switches, and they're in basically every modern phone. I think it is a hack. Because you can issue commands to your phone without the operator knowing it.
Right. Speaking of smart speakers.
It's time for our Kickstarter of the week, and this one's called the SpeakEasy by Como.
Hello, Kickstarter fans. I'm here today to tell you about a new product that we're going to bring to market. Hey, Google, turn up the music.
The SpeakEasy it's like a wood box, like a more traditional looking speaker. It's got 151 backers with 20 days left to go. They're at 39,000. They're trying to get to 50,000, but they're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
The trend is good. And they say that they've gone above and beyond. Instead of just making a regular old speaker, they've made a really good speaker because they know how to build them.
Although the way musical content delivery has changed over the years, basic acoustics have not changed. You still need to have a robust cabinet, you still need to have a powerful amplifier and very good loudspeakers. So we've packaged all these together in the traditional way of Como Audio in a very nice little package that has beautiful wood furniture, has a display so that you can look at it and tell what time it is, has a battery option so you can take it to your terrace or take it from room to room, has Bluetooth, so you can Bluetooth from your phone or computer or other device to it, should you wish. Although SpeakEasy, as a single speaker, will fill a room with music, the ability to add a second speaker so that you have a really wide stage makes this rather unique, and the built-in 30-watt amplifier in SpeakEasy allows you to do that by simply plugging in the speaker.
Yeah, I like the idea there. It's a revolutionary idea in the smart speaker industry. You can hook up another speaker by plugging in a wire. Blew my mind when I heard that. Hanging off the back of this thing, they've got a speaker out, a USB port, and get ready for this, also a jack in port. Isn't that remarkable? The idea here being that you want a great speaker, and you're not getting it with Google Assistant, I don't think, because you're all in on the Google ecosystem. The way they kind of pitch it as, well, we focused on a great speaker, and now Google's providing the software layer so you can do streaming music for any of the streaming platforms that Google Assistant supports, and you can get a Chromecast audio, and you can do streaming synchronized audio around your whole house. You can hook it up to any speaker, plus you can wire a speaker into this thing, and oh, by the way, it sounds great. I kind of like that pitch.
Yeah.
It's just a little expensive. And of course, anything like this that's been really well crafted is going to be expensive, but I think it's going to be around $299, somewhere $450 when it ships.
Yeah. Do you remember how much the Jambox cost? I can't remember.
It wasn't super cheap either when the Jambox first. Yeah, it was like $199 or something.
Oh, was it? Oh, wow.
Yeah, if they have an early bird price for $219. There's 7 Oh no, there's a few spots, about 8 spots left for the $219 edition. Now, I am a fan of good audio.
Yes, I think this would be right up your alley.
It is right up my alley.
Wait, but do you use Google Assistant?
No, and I would consider trying it.
Would it work without Google Assistant?
It has Bluetooth and stuff.
Right, so it could just play music, but you wouldn't be able to say play jazz.
Well, why not?
Or turn it down.
I mean, you would use it, right? Because that's how you do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's just sort of how you're supposed to use it, I suppose. The thing is, Google Assistant's in this weird, awkward phase right now where I think it's going to become extremely visual. So Google Assistant's built into speakers with no screens, and then they're starting to add it to televisions. And in July, Lenovo is going to start shipping a Google Assistant with a 10-inch screen. And like you have some Echoes now that have screens, like the Echo Show. And I think that's probably the way to go because Google's going to go all in, I think, on the screens with Google Assistant. And so we'll look back at these devices that have Assistant built in a couple of years and go, oh yeah, that was the pre-screen stuff. But I think that's really where Google's going to be able to differentiate. Because when you search for something on Google, a lot of times you see those Google Knowledge boxes come up right underneath your search results. They can display that on every Assistant. See, that's all already built for Assistant. So
just in the future, you'll need a screen assistant to assist with your...
Absolutely, yeah. Just hook it up. Yeah, so the timing's a little rough because you could pay less. The Lenovo one's going to be $299, which is less than they're going to be charging for this thing, and it's going to come with a screen. But this is going to have good audio if you're okay with mono. If you want stereo, then you got to hook up a second speaker, which is really raising the price. I mean...
Do they sell just the second speaker, or do you have to buy a whole second device?
They are just a standard speaker company. So you could buy one of their Como standard non-smart speakers. That's something I think people should appreciate about this is it does take some experience to build a decent speaker. And so this is a company that knows how to make good audio. That did not bear true with the Sonos. The Sonoses are considered to be pretty good devices. I do not recommend the Sonos One to anyone unless you want to stream music. The Echo functionality is pathetic. It lacks 98% of the regular Echo Dot functionality that you could get in a $30 puck. But that's not the same with Google Assistant. It's a slightly different architecture, and so you get more functionality on these third-party devices. And they are having a massive explosion right now in third-party devices. But this is a truly kind of unique, esoteric one. It would be kind of a one-off custom device, which is also kind of cool about it. So it's called the SpeakEasy, which is a great name, and it comes in several different colors. Walnut is probably the most pronounced finish that they show in their stuff, but they also have hickory, piano black, and piano white. You should get one, Ange. I am waiting for you to have a reason to get some sort of assistant or something, because then it'll be hilarious watching the kids troll it when I'm over.
I know. I think I'm still a couple years away from that.
Yeah, you got to get your phone syncing situation figured out first.
Right, yeah, that first.
All right, well, get more of us. Go to techtalk.today/subscribe for all the different ways to get this show. Follow Angers on the Twitter. She is...
I am at Angers, ANGERZ.
And I am at Chris, LAS. And we're still putting a call out there. We announced it in last episode. We'll be collecting them for the next couple of days for your ideas for the best-selling Jupiter Broadcasting book of all time. Like, what is the nitty-gritty behind-the-scenes story that we should tell in a book? Also, bonus points if you have a great book title.
Yes.
techtalk.today/contact or Angers on Twitter if you want to send a short one, or at Angela at Jupiter Broadcasting if you want to send a long one, I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose that worked too. Yeah. All right, Angers, is there anything else we need to cover before we get out of here?
Done.
All right, thanks so much for tuning in this week's episode of Tech Talk, and we will see you next
week.